Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Zainab. Zainab was 24 years old and she did not have a job. She lived in a very small room in a busy city. The room had one small window, one thin door, and a weak light bulb that sometimes went off at night. The walls were old and had cracks, and the floor was cold when she stepped on it in the morning. Zainab did not complain about her room. She was thankful she had a place to sleep. Every day, Zainab woke up very early, even before the sun came out. When the sky was still dark and quiet, she sat up on her thin mattress and took a deep breath. She talked to herself softly and said, "Today will be better." She always said this, even when yesterday was very hard. Zainab washed her face with water from a small plastic bucket. The water was cold, but it helped her wake up. She looked at her face in a small broken mirror. Her eyes looked tired, but there was still hope inside them. Zainab had finished school. She worked hard when she was in school. She read her books, did her work, and listened to her teachers. She believed that when she finished school, she would get a good job and help herself and others. But after school, life did not go the way she hoped. She went to many places to look for work. She wore her best clothes, even though they were old. She smiled and spoke politely. Many people told her, "We will call you," but they never called. Some people did not even listen to her. They looked at her from head to toe and told her to leave. Each time she came back home, her heart felt heavy. Still, Zainab did not give up. People around her talked about her. Some laughed at her. Some whispered when she passed by. They said things like, "She finished school but has no job," and "She is too quiet," and "Maybe she will never succeed." Zainab heard these words, but she did not fight anyone. She did not shout. She did not cry in front of them. She kept her pain inside her heart. She believed that shouting would not change her life, but patience might. Zainab did not have parents anymore. They had died when she was younger, and since then she had learned to stand on her own. Sometimes she missed them so much that her chest hurt. When she felt lonely, she talked to them in her heart. She asked them to watch over her. That morning, Zainab reached for her small bag and took out her phone. The phone screen had cracks, but it still worked. She checked her bank balance. The number on the screen was very small. It was almost nothing. It was the last money she had. Zainab sat quietly and thought about it. She planned how to use it carefully. She wanted to go to the cyber cafe to print her CV. A CV was a paper that told people about her education and her skills. Zainab believed that if she printed more CVs, she might get more chances to find a job. She stood up and dressed slowly. Her clothes were clean but old. She made sure her dress was neat. She tied her hair back and looked at herself again. She said softly, "I may be poor, but I will still look clean." Before leaving, Zainab prayed. She asked for strength, not money. She asked for courage, not comfort. She stepped out of her small room into the busy street. The city was already waking up. Cars were moving. People were rushing. Some people were laughing. Some were angry. Some looked happy. Some looked worried. Zainab walked quietly among them. She did not rush. She held her bag tightly. As she walked, she saw many things. She saw shops full of food, with rice, bread, and fruits. Her stomach felt empty, but she looked away. She told herself she would eat later. She saw clothes hanging in shops, bright and new. She did not stop to look. She kept walking. She believed that one day she would also buy things without fear. Zainab passed by people who were dressed well. Some of them pushed past her. Some did not notice her at all. She did not mind. She was used to being unnoticed. As she walked, she remembered the words people had said about her. She remembered the rejection. She remembered the long waits. Her heart felt heavy, but her feet kept moving forward. She reached the ATM machine and stood in line. When it was her turn, she put in her card and took out her last money. She held the notes in her hand and looked at them for a long time. This money meant hope to her. It meant another try. It meant she was not giving up yet. She put the money safely in her bag and started walking toward the cyber cafe. The sun was now higher in the sky. The street was louder. As she walked, she did not know that this normal day, this simple walk, would soon change her life forever. She did not know that her kindness, her quiet heart, and her simple choice would be seen by someone important. She only knew one thing. She was jobless, she was tired, but she was still trying. After Zainab put the money safely inside her small bag, she took a deep breath and began to walk again. The sound of the city was louder now. Cars were moving fast. Motorbikes passed close to her. People talked loudly on their phones. Some people laughed. Some people argued. The air was warm and dust floated around when cars passed. Zainab held her bag close to her body. Inside that bag was her last money. That money felt heavy, not because it weighed much, but because it carried her hope. She walked slowly, thinking carefully. In her mind, she counted how many CV papers she could print. She told herself, if I print 10 copies, maybe one place will call me. If I print 20, maybe 2 places will listen. She did not dream of big things. She only dreamed of a small job that would help her eat, pay rent, and sleep without fear. As she walked, she passed many shops. Some shops sold hot food. The smell of fried rice and meat filled the air. Zainab's stomach made a small sound, but she ignored it. She told herself that food could wait. She passed fruit sellers shouting prices. She passed women selling bread and snacks. She passed men carrying heavy loads. Everyone looked busy. Everyone looked like they had somewhere to go. Zainab felt small among them, but she kept walking. She believed that even small people had a place in the world. The road ahead was long, and the sun was now bright. Zainab wiped sweat from her face with the back of her hand. She thought about her parents again. She wondered what they would say if they could see her. She believed they would tell her not to give up. That thought gave her strength. As she turned onto another street, the noise became even louder. This street had many shops close together. People walked fast here. Shop owners stood at their doors calling customers. Some smiled, some shouted. Zainab walked quietly between them. Then she saw something that made her slow down. Near the side of the road, close to a big shop, an old man sat on the ground. His clothes were very dirty and torn. His shoes were broken. His hair and beard were long and gray. He looked thin and weak. His back was bent, and his hands shook as he tried to stand. 2 shop owners were standing near him. One of them shouted loudly, "Old man, go away from here!" The other waved his hand angrily and said, "You are scaring customers. Leave now!" The old man tried to speak. His voice was low and tired. "Please," he said, "I just need to rest." But the shop owners did not listen. One pushed a broom toward him. People walked past them. Some looked for a second and then looked away. Some did not look at all. Children passed by holding their parents' hands. Cars moved past without stopping. The old man looked very small on the ground. Zainab stopped walking. Her feet felt heavy, like they did not want to move forward. She stood there and watched. Her heart started to beat fast. She felt a pain inside her chest. The old man reminded her of someone she loved. He reminded her of her father when he was sick and weak. Zainab remembered how her father used to sit quietly and smile, even when he was in pain. She remembered how people sometimes ignored him too. Zainab swallowed hard. She looked at the money in her bag. She thought about the cyber cafe. She thought about the CV papers. She thought about her future. Then she looked back at the old man. He was trying to stand again, but his legs shook, and he fell back to the ground. One shop owner laughed and said, "See, just go away." Zainab's hands trembled. She told herself, "I am poor too. I have nothing." But another voice inside her said, "He has even less." She took one small step forward, then another. She walked closer to the old man. The shop owners noticed her. One of them looked at her and said, "Madam, don't mind him. He is always here." Zainab did not answer. She did not shout. She did not argue. She simply looked at the old man. His eyes met hers. His eyes were tired, but they were kind. Zainab felt tears come to her eyes, but she held them back. She bent down slowly. She spoke softly so only the old man could hear. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked. The old man nodded slowly. "I am just tired," he said. Zainab reached into her bag. Her fingers touched the money. She paused. Her heart felt like it was being pulled in two directions. She knew that once she took the money out, there would be no going back. She thought again about her empty room. She thought about hunger. She thought about rejection. She thought about walking all the way back home with nothing. People around them watched quietly now. Some were curious. Some looked confused. The shop owners folded their arms and waited. Zainab closed her eyes for a short moment. Then she opened her bag and brought out the money. She placed all the notes gently into the old man's hand. The old man looked at the money. His eyes grew wide. His hands shook even more. He looked up at Zainab in surprise. "Why?" he asked softly. His voice was weak, but his question was clear. Zainab gave a small, sad smile. "Because you need it more than I do today," she said. She did not explain more. She did not want praise. She did not want anyone to clap for her. She stood up quickly. Before anyone could say anything else, she turned and walked away. Her steps were fast now. Her heart was beating hard. When she reached the corner of the street, she stopped. She leaned against a wall and finally let her tears fall. They rolled down her face quietly. No one noticed her crying. No one came to ask if she was okay. Zainab wiped her face and took a deep breath. She felt scared. She felt empty. But somewhere deep inside her heart, she also felt calm. She did not know why. She only knew that she had followed her heart. Behind her, the old man still sat on the ground, holding the money tightly. He watched Zainab walk away until she disappeared into the crowd. People around him returned to their business. The shop owners stopped shouting. Life went on as usual for everyone else. But something important had just happened. Zainab did not know it. The old man did not speak yet. The street did not change. The city did not stop. But a quiet seed had been planted. Zainab stood there for a short time after her tears stopped. The wall behind her was rough and warm from the sun. People passed by her without looking. Some brushed past her shoulder. Some laughed loudly as they walked. The city did not care that she had just given away her last money. The city did not stop. Zainab wiped her face with her sleeve and took a deep breath. Her chest felt tight, like something heavy was sitting on it. She looked down at her bag. It felt light now, too light. She opened it slowly and looked inside, even though she already knew what she would see. There was nothing there. No money, no hope on paper, no plan for the cyber cafe. Zainab closed the bag and held it close to her body. She whispered to herself, "It is okay." She did not know if it was truly okay, but she said it anyway. She began to walk again. Her steps were slow at first. Her legs felt weak. Every step reminded her of what she had done. Her mind kept asking questions. What will I eat today? How will I print my CV? What if this was a mistake? The questions came one after another, like small waves hitting her heart. She tried to push them away. She told herself that thinking too much would not change what had already happened. She walked past the corner and back into the busy street. The same shops were there. The same smells filled the air. The same voices shouted prices. Everything looked the same, but Zainab felt different inside. She felt empty, but she also felt strangely calm. It was a feeling she did not fully understand. As she walked, she remembered the old man's face. She remembered his shaking hands. She remembered the way his eyes looked at her when she gave him the money. There was surprise in his eyes, but there was also something else. Something soft. Something warm. Zainab held on to that memory. It made her heart feel a little lighter. She walked and walked until her feet started to hurt. She did not know where she was going. She only knew she could not turn back. Going back would mean facing her empty room too soon. So she kept moving. She passed streets she had never walked before. She passed houses with tall gates and houses with broken fences. She passed children playing with old balls and women selling water. She watched life happen around her, and she wondered where she fit into it. At one point, her stomach hurt badly. It made a loud sound. Zainab stopped and held her belly. She felt dizzy. She leaned against a pole and closed her eyes. She thought about food. She thought about rice. She thought about bread. Her mouth felt dry. She opened her eyes and looked around. There was no one she could ask for help. Even if there was, she felt shy. She had always been the one trying to stand on her own. She did not like to beg. She stood there for a moment, then straightened up. "I will be fine," she told herself again. She began to walk back toward her room. The road felt longer now. The sun felt hotter. Her bag swung lightly at her side. With every step, fear tried to grow inside her. But she kept walking. She remembered her parents again. She remembered her mother's gentle voice. She remembered her father's quiet smile. She imagined them walking beside her, telling her she had done the right thing. That thought gave her strength. When she finally reached her street, the noise became softer. It was a small street with old buildings and tired faces. Zainab climbed the stairs to her room slowly. Each step felt heavy. She opened her door and went inside. The room looked the same as always, small, quiet, empty. She placed her bag on the floor and sat on her mattress. For a long time, she did nothing. She just sat there. She looked at the wall. She listened to the sounds outside. Her stomach hurt. Her head hurt. Her heart hurt the most. She lay down on her mattress and stared at the ceiling. She thought about the cyber cafe she would not go to. She thought about the CVs she would not print. She thought about the job calls that would not come. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time she did not cry. She felt too tired to cry. She closed her eyes and breathed slowly. After some time, she sat up again. She told herself that she could not just lie there all day. She needed to do something, even if it was small. She stood up and drank some water from her bucket. The water was warm, but it helped a little. She washed her face again and tied her hair back. She decided to clean her room. Cleaning always helped her think. She swept the floor slowly. She wiped the small table. She folded her clothes neatly. As she cleaned, her mind became quieter. The questions became softer. The fear became less loud. When she finished, she sat down again. The room looked a little better now. Zainab smiled faintly. It was a small smile, but it was real. She thought about what had happened again, but this time she did not feel regret. She told herself that money could come and go, but kindness stayed. She did not know why she felt this way. She just did. Outside, the sun began to move lower in the sky. The room became less bright. Zainab lay down again, feeling very tired. Hunger made her weak, but sleep slowly came to her. As she slept, she dreamed. She dreamed of walking on a long road. She was tired, but she kept walking. In the dream, someone was walking behind her, watching her with kind eyes. She could not see the person's face, but she felt safe. When she woke up, it was evening. The room was quiet. Her stomach still hurt, but her heart felt calm. She sat up and looked around. Nothing had changed in her room. She was still poor. She was still jobless. She still had no money. But something inside her felt different. She felt stronger. She felt like she had chosen something important, even if it hurt. She stood up and looked out of her small window. The sky was turning orange and pink. Zainab whispered softly, "I do not know what will happen tomorrow." She paused, then added, "But I know I did what I felt was right." She closed the window and lay back down on her mattress. She hugged herself and closed her eyes. She did not know that far away, the old man was still thinking about her. She did not know that her simple choice had already started something big. She only knew that today she had given all she had, not because she was rich, but because her heart was kind. While Zainab lay quietly on her thin mattress, with the night air coming softly through her small window, the old man she had helped was still sitting on the ground where she had left him. The street was calmer now. The loud voices of the shop owners were gone. Some shops had closed their doors. A few lights were still on, shining weakly onto the road. The old man held the money tightly in his hand, as if he was afraid it might disappear. He looked at it again and again, not because of how much it was, but because of what it meant. Slowly, he lifted his head and looked in the direction Zainab had walked. She was long gone, lost in the crowd, but her face was clear in his mind. Her tired eyes, her shaking hands, her soft voice when she spoke to him. The old man felt something move inside his chest. It was a feeling he had not felt for a very long time. It was not hunger. It was not pain. It was something warm, something gentle, something like hope. He whispered to himself, "Why would someone like her do that?" He slowly pushed himself up from the ground. His legs were weak, but he forced himself to stand. He walked carefully to a quiet corner of the street and sat down again, away from people's eyes. He looked around to be sure no one was watching him closely. Then his face changed. His eyes, which had looked weak and tired before, now looked sharp and clear. His back straightened a little. His hands stopped shaking. This old man was not just a homeless man. His name was Kareem Adewale. Long before this day, many people knew his name. He was very rich. He owned big companies, tall buildings, and many cars. He had more money than he could ever spend. People used to bow when they greeted him. People used to smile when they saw him coming. But those smiles were not real. They were smiles that wanted something. Over the years, Mr. Kareem had learned a hard lesson. Money could buy many things, but it could not buy a clean heart. His own family fought over his wealth. His own children talked behind his back. His workers lied to him. His friends praised him to his face and betrayed him behind him. He grew tired, very tired. One day, he asked himself a question that would change his life. He asked, "If I had nothing, who would still care?" That question stayed in his heart like a heavy stone. He could not forget it. So he made a choice, a strange choice. He left his big house. He left his fine clothes. He left his cars and guards. He dressed in old clothes. He let his hair and beard grow. He walked the streets like a poor man. He slept in simple places. He watched people. He listened. He tested the world quietly. Many people passed him every day. Some laughed at him. Some insulted him. Some pretended he did not exist. A few threw small coins at him without looking at his face. None stopped to ask if he was okay. None spoke to him kindly. Over time, Mr. Kareem stopped expecting anything good. He began to believe that kindness was gone from the world. Then Zainab came. She did not shout. She did not show off. She did not call attention to herself. She simply saw a human being in pain and gave everything she had. Mr. Kareem closed his eyes for a moment and breathed deeply. He felt tears gather, but he did not let them fall. He was a strong man, but this simple act had broken something hard inside him. He opened his eyes and whispered, "At last." He knew in that moment that his search was over. He did not follow Zainab. He did not call out to her. He did not stop her to ask her name. He wanted to see who she truly was, not who she might become if she knew who he was. He wanted to protect her heart from greed and fear. Later that night, a black car stopped quietly at the end of the street. Two men stepped out. They were well-dressed and alert. They looked around carefully. One of them walked toward Mr. Kareem and bowed his head slightly. "Sir," he said softly, "we have been looking for you." "Mr." Kareem raised his hand. "Not here," he said quietly. "Take me home." The men helped him into the car. As the car drove away, Mr. Kareem looked back at the street one last time. He remembered Zainab's words, "Because you need it more than I do today." He repeated them in his mind again and again. Back in his large, quiet house, Mr. Kareem took a long bath and put on clean clothes. He sat alone in his room, thinking deeply. He asked his assistant to find out everything about a young woman named Zainab. He did not rush. He did not smile. He only said one thing, very calmly. "Be careful. Do not let her know who I am." His assistant looked surprised but nodded. That same night, Zainab slept in her small room, unaware of everything happening. She did not know that the man she helped was sitting in a house bigger than her whole street. She did not know that powerful people were already speaking her name. She did not know that her life had started to change. She slept peacefully, even though she was hungry, because her heart was light. And far away, Mr. Kareem sat quietly and said to himself, "I have found the one person who gave without witnesses." The next morning came quietly for Zainab. The sun rose slowly and light slipped into her small room through the window. Zainab opened her eyes and sat up on her thin mattress. Her stomach hurt. It hurt because it was empty. She had not eaten since the day before. She sat still for a moment and listened to the sounds outside. People were already moving. Someone laughed. Someone argued. A radio played far away. Life was going on as if nothing had changed. Zainab stood up slowly as she felt weak, but she forced herself to stand straight. She washed her face with cold water. The water made her shiver, but it helped her feel awake. She looked at herself in the small mirror again. Her face looked thinner. Her eyes looked tired. Still, she tried to smile at herself. She said softly, "You will be okay." She did not know if it was true, but saying it helped her breathe easier. Zainab spent the day inside her room. She did not have money to go out. She did not have strength to walk far. She sat on her mattress and thought. Sometimes she lay down and closed her eyes. Sometimes she sat up and stared at the wall. Her stomach made sounds many times. Each sound reminded her that she had no food. She drank water again and again to quiet the pain. She told herself that hunger would not kill her in one day. She remembered times when she had eaten only once in 2 days. She survived then. She believed she would survive now. As the day went on, fear tried to enter her heart. Fear whispered, "What if nothing changes?" Fear asked, "What if you never get a job?" Fear laughed and said, "You gave away your last chance." Zainab shook her head and whispered, "No." She refused to let fear stay. She remembered the old man's eyes. She remembered the calm feeling she had after giving the money. She held on to that feeling like a small light in a dark room. When night came, Zainab lay down again. She hugged herself and closed her eyes. Sleep came slowly, but it came. The next day was the same, and the next. Days passed quietly. Zainab stayed inside most of the time. Sometimes she stepped outside to get fresh air. Sometimes she greeted neighbors with a soft smile. Some neighbors looked at her with pity. Some did not look at her at all. No one offered help. Zainab did not ask. Hunger became a normal feeling. Her body felt lighter. Her clothes felt looser. But her heart stayed gentle. She did not curse anyone. She did not regret her choice. Each night she prayed quietly. She did not ask for riches. She asked for strength. She asked for a chance. She asked for peace. One afternoon, as Zainab sat on her mattress, her phone rang. The sound startled her. She picked it up quickly. The screen showed a number she did not know. Her heart began to beat fast. She hesitated for a second, then answered. "Hello?" she said softly. A calm voice spoke on the other side. "Good afternoon. Is this Zainab?" the voice asked. "Yes," Zainab replied, her voice shaking a little. "You are invited for an interview tomorrow morning," the voice said. Zainab felt confused. "Interview?" she asked. "Yes," the voice replied. "Please come to this address at 9 o'clock. The person gave her an address. It sounded like a very big place. Before Zainab could ask more questions, the call ended. Zainab sat there holding her phone. Her heart was beating very fast now. She had many questions. Who called her? Which job was this? She had not applied anywhere recently. She checked her phone again, as if the answer would appear on the screen. It did not. She stood up and began to walk around her room. Hope and fear danced together inside her chest. Hope whispered, "This could be it." Fear whispered, "What if it is a mistake?" Zainab stopped walking and sat down again. She held her phone close and closed her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, not knowing who she was thanking. That night, Zainab could not sleep well. She kept turning from side to side. She thought about the interview. She thought about what to wear. She thought about how she would get there without money. She remembered that she could walk part of the way. She could ask for help if she had to. She told herself she would find a way. Before sleeping, she cleaned her dress carefully and hung it neatly. It was old, but it was clean. She lay down and closed her eyes, her heart full of questions. She did not know that far away, mister. Kareem was also thinking about her. He sat in his quiet house and spoke to his assistant. "Tomorrow," he said calmly, "bring her in." He did not smile. He did not explain. He simply waited. The morning of the interview came very early for Zainab. She did not really sleep. When the sky was still dark, she opened her eyes and sat up. Her heart was beating fast. She felt nervous and scared, but also a little hopeful. She stood up slowly and washed her face with cold water. The water made her shiver, but it helped her feel awake. She looked at her dress, the one she had cleaned the night before. It was simple and old, but it was neat. She wore it carefully and tied her hair back. She looked at herself in the mirror for a long time. She did not see a rich woman. She did not see a powerful woman. She saw a tired young woman who had not eaten well for days, but who was still standing. She nodded at herself and whispered, "Be strong." Zainab stepped out of her room and locked the door. The street was quiet. Some people were just waking up. She began to walk toward the address she'd been given. She walked for a long time. Her legs hurt, but she did not stop. When she reached the place, she stopped suddenly. She could not believe her eyes. The building in front of her was very big and very beautiful. It was tall, clean, and shiny. There were guards at the gate. Big cars came in and went out. Zainab felt very small. She almost turned around to leave. She thought, "Maybe I am in the wrong place." Her hands shook. Her heart beat louder. But then she remembered the phone call. She remembered the calm voice. She took a deep breath and walked forward. One of the guards looked at her and asked politely, "Can I help you?" Zainab swallowed hard. "I was invited for an interview," she said softly. The guard checked a list and nodded. "Please go inside," he said. Zainab walked through the big doors. Inside, everything was quiet and bright. The floor shined. The air felt cool. People walked around in clean clothes, holding papers and talking softly. Zainab felt out of place, but she kept walking. A woman led her into a large room and asked her to sit. Zainab sat on a chair and waited. Her hands rested on her lap. She looked around the room. It was very clean, very calm. After some time, the door opened. Someone walked in. When Zainab lifted her head and saw who it was, her heart almost stopped. It was the old man, the same old man she had given her last money to. But he did not look the same. He was clean, he was well-dressed. He stood straight, his eyes were sharp and calm. Zainab could not speak. She stood up slowly. Her mouth was open, but no sound came out. The man looked at her and smiled gently. "Do you remember me?" he asked. Zainab nodded slowly. Her legs felt weak. "Please sit," the man said kindly. Zainab sat down again, still shaking. The man sat across from her. "My name is Kareem Adewale," he said calmly. "I am the owner of this company." Zainab's eyes grew wide. Her heart beat very fast. She could not understand what was happening. "I am sorry," she whispered. "I don't understand." Mr. Kareem nodded. "I know," he said. "That is why I invited you here." He looked at her kindly. "The day we met, I was dressed like a poor homeless man," he continued. "I was not asking for money. I was watching people." Zainab listened quietly. Her hands trembled. "Many people passed me," Mr. Kareem said. "Some shouted at me, some laughed, some pretended I was not there." He paused and looked at her. "But you stopped." Zainab felt tears fill her eyes. "You did not know who I was," he said. "You did not know I had money. You did not know anyone was watching. Yet you gave me everything you had." Zainab shook her head slowly. "I only did what I felt was right," she said softly. Mr. Kareem smiled. "That is exactly why you are here," he said. He told her everything. He told her about his wealth. He told her about how people treated him because of money. He told her why he chose to dress like a poor man. Zainab listened, her heart full. "I am not looking for someone clever," Mr. Kareem said. "I am not looking for someone rich. I am looking for someone kind." He looked straight at her. "I want to give you a chance." Zainab began to cry. "Sir," she said, "I am just a poor girl." Mr. Kareem nodded. "I know," he said gently. That is why I trust you. He offered her a job, not as a cleaner, not as a helper, but as his personal assistant. He said he would teach her. He said he would guide her. Zainab could not believe it. Her tears fell freely now. But there is one thing, Mr. Kareem said calmly. Zainab looked up at him. You must promise me something, he said. Promise me that money will not change your heart. Zainab wiped her tears and nodded. I promise, she said softly. Mr. Kareem smiled. He stood up and held out his hand. Zainab stood up and shook it. Her hands were still shaking, but her heart felt full. She walked out of the room slowly, her mind full of wonder. She did not know how her life would change from this day. But she knew one thing. Her kindness had led her here. After Zainab shook Mr. Kareem's hand, she walked out of the big office slowly. Her legs felt light, as if she was walking on air, but her head felt full, as if many thoughts were moving inside it at the same time. A kind woman showed her the way to another small room and asked her to wait. Zainab sat down and held her bag tightly. She looked at her hands. They were still shaking a little. She tried to calm herself. She told herself again and again, this is real. This is really happening. After a short time, the woman returned and said gently, please come. Zainab stood up and followed her. She was led into a quiet room with a small table and 2 chairs. Mr. Kareem was already there. He smiled at her and asked her to sit. Zainab sat down and folded her hands on her lap, just like she used to do when she was a child in school. Mr. Kareem looked at her kindly and spoke slowly so she could understand every word. Zainab, he said, I want to explain clearly what I am offering you. Zainab nodded. Her eyes stayed on him. I want you to work with me, he said. I want you to learn from me. I want to teach you how this company works. He paused to be sure she was listening. You will not be alone, he continued. You will have help. You will be trained step by step. Zainab listened carefully. Her heart beat fast, but she did not interrupt. This will not be easy, Mr. Kareem said gently. You will see many things. You will meet many people. Some will be kind, some will not. He leaned forward slightly. But I believe you can do it. Zainab swallowed and nodded. Sir, she said softly, I have never worked in a place like this. Mr. Kareem smiled. I know, he said. That is why I chose you. He explained that her job would be to help him every day. She would help with simple tasks at first. She would learn how to listen, how to write, how to plan, and how to speak with respect. He said she would learn slowly, one step at a time. I am not looking for perfection, he said. I am looking for honesty. Zainab felt tears come to her eyes again. She blinked them away and listened. Mr. Kareem then became very serious. There is something very important you must understand, he said. Money can change people. Zainab nodded slowly. I have seen it many times, he continued. Money can make people forget who they are. It can make them proud. It can make them cruel. He looked straight into her eyes. I do not want that to happen to you. Zainab felt her chest tighten. She spoke with a clear voice, even though it was soft. Sir, she said, I will not forget. Mr. Kareem nodded. That is why I will test you again, he said calmly. Zainab looked surprised. Test me? She asked. Mr. Kareem smiled gently. Not with tricks, he said, with time. He explained that she would start with a small salary. She would not be given power right away. She would learn patience. She would learn humility. If at any time I see your heart change, he said, I will stop everything. Zainab did not feel afraid. She felt grateful. I understand, she said. Mr. Kareem then asked her a simple question. Why did you give me your last money that day? Nis, he asked. Zainab thought for a moment. Then she answered honestly. Because you were tired, she said. And because I felt that if I walked away, I would not forgive myself. Mr. Kareem closed his eyes for a short moment. When he opened them, they were wet. That answer, he said quietly, is enough. He stood up and walked to the window. He looked outside at the city below. Many people think success is about winning, he said. I think success is about not losing your heart. He turned back to her. That is why I want you to walk this path with me. Zainab stood up slowly. Her voice shook a little, but her words were clear. Thank you, she said. I will do my best. Mr. Kareem nodded. That is all I ask, he replied. He told her when to start work and who she would meet first. He told her that she would be given a place to stay closer to the office so she would not be tired from walking. Zainab's eyes widened in surprise. Sir, she said, that is too much. Mr. Kareem shook his head gently. It is not too much, he said. It is care. He then added softly, but remember where you came from. Zainab nodded again. She would never forget. When the meeting ended, Zainab walked out of the building slowly. The sun was bright, the air felt fresh. She stood outside for a moment and took a deep breath. Everything around her looked the same, but she felt different inside. She felt hope, strong and warm. She thought about her small room, her hunger, her tears. She thought about the old man on the street. She whispered softly, "Thank you." She did not know exactly what the future would bring, but she knew she had been given a chance, and she knew she would protect her heart with all her strength. The days after Zainab left the big building felt very different from the days before. When she walked back toward her small room that evening, her steps were slow, but her heart was warm. She looked at the street, at the people, at the shops, and everything looked the same, yet nothing felt the same. She reached her room and opened the thin door. The room was quiet and small, just as it had always been. She sat on her mattress and rested her hands on her knees. She breathed in and out slowly. She told herself, "My life is changing, but I must stay the same inside." The next morning, Zainab woke up early again. This time, she did not wake up with fear. She woke up with calm. She washed her face, tied her hair, and wore her simple dress. A car came to pick her up, just as Mr. Kareem had said. Zainab felt shy as she stepped into the car, but she reminded herself to stay humble. At the office, she started her new work. At first, she did small things. She listened. She watched. She learned how to greet people politely. She learned how to write notes and carry messages. Some people looked at her with surprise. Some whispered. Some smiled kindly. Zainab treated everyone the same. She said please and thank you. She did not raise her voice. She did not act proud. Each evening, she went back to her room or to the place she was given to stay, tired but thankful. Days turned into weeks. Zainab learned many things. She learned how meetings worked. She learned how to listen before speaking. She learned that being quiet could be a strength. Mr. Kareem watched her closely. He did not praise her too much. He did not give her gifts. He simply watched. He saw how she spoke to cleaners with respect. He saw how she helped without being asked. He saw how she stayed calm when things were hard. One day, Zainab passed the street where she had met the old man. She stopped for a moment and looked around. The street was busy again. People were walking fast. Shops were open. The world had not stopped. Zainab smiled softly. She did not tell anyone her story. She did not point at herself and say she was special. She knew that kindness did not need a loud voice. Months passed and Zainab grew stronger. She ate well, she slept better. She stood taller, but her heart stayed gentle. She used her small salary to help quietly. Sometimes she bought food for a hungry child. Sometimes she paid for medicine for a neighbor. She never told anyone. Mr. Kareem noticed this too. One evening, he called her into his office. He looked at her and smiled. "You have not changed," he said. Zainab shook her head. "I do not want to," she replied. Mr. Kareem nodded with pride. "That is why I chose you," he said. He told her that kindness had a way of coming back, not always with money, but with meaning. Zainab listened carefully and kept his words in her heart. As time went on, Zainab became respected. People trusted her. They came to her with questions. They felt safe around her. She never forgot the days of hunger and tears. She never forgot the old man on the street. She never forgot who she was when no one was watching. One quiet evening, as the sun went down and the sky turned soft colors, Zainab sat by her window and thought about her journey. She smiled and whispered, "Kindness without witnesses is never lost." She knew now that giving with a pure heart could change a life, sometimes many lives, and that was where her story truly rested. Not in wealth or power, but in a heart that chose to be kind even when it hurt.